Hi everyone, it's Mike here. Welcome back. So today it's time for June's mid-month mini mission inspiration over on our Mission Inspiration Facebook group. So let me turn over to my overhead camera. I'll show you the prompt for June and then I'll explain what I want to do with my art tag for this project. Okay, so your June mid-month mini mission inspiration prompt is dots and doodles. So I've already taken my tag out of my journal ready to play. So I'm going to flip it over and I've got my watercolor cardstock art tag all ready to go. So my thought for this month was I thought dots and doodles, I'm going to do some kind of crazy hair. So I've gone through my Digi collection and pulled out this fabulous kind of like little face. So I'm going to create some kind of wild hair using dots and doodles. But first of all, I just want to add in maybe a little neck shape. Just like that. And then we can get sort of cracking. There we go. I'm not going mad with it. So just like so, but what I'll do is I'll just give myself a bit of a light outline as to whereabouts I want to stick it. Shall we just tilt the head slightly, I think. Just give it a little bit of a whimsical feel. Just from where the ears are. You can always erase that later on. But it gives us an idea then where the head starts and where we need to go. Alright, actually maybe I will just gently go around the top. Just gentle like. There we go, that's perfect. So I can pop my little face to one side and then I can go away and grab all my other little resources. I want some paint and I need something to create some dots with. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've grabbed myself a little bit of a paintbrush. I've got a couple of paints out. These are indigo blue paints. So these are from their skin tones range. So I've got, thank you for that, Mr. Bentley. So I've got my porcelain, which is nearly out. Actually, there's not a lot of this left. And I've also got, to do some of the shadows, some apricot blush. So all I'm going to concentrate on is just painting in the sort of neckline here. So, and it doesn't matter whether we go over the top. Quite literally, it doesn't matter whether we go over the top. Here we go. So just grab some of that paint. Just looking back on what I did for May, and obviously I did a face for May as well, so perhaps it's a thing. Or maybe not, I don't know. I just thought with the dots and the doodles it would lend itself, I think, to doing some crazy kind of hair. So that's what I thought. Now it's extremely warm here in the UK today, again. So the ambient temperature is quite high. So things are drying pretty darn quickly. So I'm just going to grab a tiny bit of that apricot. Just kind of create a little bit of shadow. Just blending in. Just clean the brush. Grab a little bit more of that porcelain I'm hoping that the lights aren't bleaching it out too much. And then just a tiny, tiny bit. Now I can always come back in a little bit later just to kind of get any mistakes. It's not over till it's over. It's a good title for a song, that, isn't it? It ain't over till it's over. I've just seen whether or not I had another porcelain in my collection. I haven't. I've got another one which is a little bit darker, which is called Fair. And then we go slightly even darker than that with Warm Tan. Oh, medium beige, then Warm Tan. So there's porcelain, medium beige, Warm Tan, then you've got apricot blush, but then you've got a rouge as well, and then you move into the real kind of like dark. Is that another Fair? Sorry, I missed the Fair out, didn't I? There we go. So you've got a nice kind of like gradation of colours for skin tones, so you can go quite dark, but if you wanted to go really dark, then you could also add in some of the cocoa. So you've got real kind of dark if you wanted to go kind of Nubian dark, right the way through to lily white, like me, right the way through to porcelain. So those are, I believe, their skin tone set, or portrait set, I think it's called. Don't think it contains the hot cocoa, so it might just be those that you get. I think it is actually just those 6. But anyway, very worthwhile having, because you can do almost any skin tone in those. Almost any. Apart from reptilian, of course, but then if that's the case, you can add in some pistachio. There we go. Right, catering for all eventualities. Right, is that dry yet? Not yet. Right, let me get this cleaned up and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my Japanese Gansai Tambei watercolours out here. I've also just gone and tidied up that little bit of a neckline a little bit. I've just got rid of that little bleg that went over the edge. Now I don't want to do a huge amount of watercolouring on this. I just want to create a really kind of light blue wash. Nothing spectacular, nothing too deep or dark. So all I want to do is just from about this point on, and I'm just going to lightly do a tiny bit of a wash. And then just take it up there a little bit, because I don't know how far down my hair is going to come just yet, but we'll just leave that kind of like that, and then I'll just flip that over. So that's where the ear would be. I haven't wet the paper this time. So I'm not doing wet on wet. I'm just going to kind of activate and blend that colour out a little bit. We'll be painting over the top of this, so I'm using a multitude of mediums today. So we've already used acrylic, we've got pencil, now we're just doing a little bit of watercolour. So, like I said, it doesn't have to be Oh, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't even have to be exact, because the watchwords for this year are embrace imperfection. I think that should do it. That should do it, I think. Again, like I said, I'm hoping my lights aren't too bright. I've gone from going too dark to too bright. It's silly. Right, okay, so now once that goes down, you see we've got that nice kind of bluish background to play with. So that's going to be the next step. So let me just pop those watercolours away and I'll be right back. Okay, so the next layer really is to get this glued down. So I'm just going to add a little bit of spirit glue. I'm not going right to the edge because when I press it down I don't want it coming out from underneath. So I'm leaving a little bit of a gap. Apart from on the ears. Okay. So we did say about there, didn't we, for that kind of whimsical angle. There we go. So just give that a second or two just to grab, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got some white gesso. This is indigo blue white gesso, and I'm just going to take a little bit. Actually, I think that needs a good stir up. Have I got... I didn't shake it. I should have done. Mea culpa. There we go. That's more like it. Let's just clean that off, otherwise you know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to go. I've got a fly in the room. Go away. Another one. I love summer, I really do. But the flies, because you've got to have your windows open. It's so annoying. Anyway. Okay, so let's go back with this gesso. That's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of decide on where the hair is going to be, just on here, and how far down it's going to come, and then I'm just going to paint out that top part of the head. So again, come down here, let's bring it down. I'm just kind of like laying a very basic gesso foundation, just so that the paint has got something to stick to. So let's go a little bit further out here, because this is kind of now informing, telling me where I need to go with this. There we go. Just add that little bit of gesso in the background, just to give what's coming next something to grab onto. <sighs> I, Okay, that kind of is hiding the edge there now. So it's almost like giving it a little bit of a skull cap. So that part of the head is now disappeared altogether. Or fingers crossed anyway, it's disappeared. There we go. Quick and easy. Okay, I'll get that dried off and then I'll be right back. So I've gone through my paint collection and I've pulled out some paints on kind of like the warm side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through with some of the darker colours first. So these are all just paints from my stash that I've had for ages. So we've got Velvet Rose, Rouge, which we talked about earlier, and I've also got Burning Bonfire. So that are three kind of nice paints on the warm side. I've given all my paints a shake up because some of these, I mean, I've had for absolutely ages and ages and ages, so they really needed a good shake up, because paints do. Right, so start off with the dots. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load up one of these pencils and I'm going to start just adding in dots. So this is going to be a process. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of a time. And we're just going to build up layers and layers. Let's move those two out of the way actually. I could have just done this one colour at a time. And I'm trying to kind of imagine an outline of where the hair is going to go. Try and create like an imaginary shape in my head. Is to almost like a flame shape. Okay, so that's the rouge. Don't forget we've got doodles to come as well. This isn't going to be, it's not just going to be dots, it'll be dots and doodles. So grab the next pencil. This time we'll go in with the orange and I can start building in into the gaps. And it doesn't matter if you go over one of the other paint splodges. In the grand scheme of things, I can't really see it mattering. This one's quite thick paint. So with it being so warm today, again I've had to open the window, A, to let the flies out, just to kind of get some air circulating into the room. Doggies certainly don't like it today. They've already been out for their WALK and I practically had to drag them because they just did not want to move. Okay, so that pencil's not really giving me a good shape. That's fine, don't mind that. I can always come back and add more later on if they're a bit more defined, if you like. So let me just try smaller paintbrush. It's giving me some good finer points. It's almost kind of like pointillism, but we're not really building up a shape or painting, creating like a scene using the dots, but we are kind of just trying to create a bit of a whimsical hairstyle. Let's just bring some of that purple, the velvet, is that what you call velvet rose, Ken? Yeah, velvet rose, which is a nice kind of grey, almost a vintage colour. See if we can encourage some of that orange. Yeah, there we go. I think we could do with, if I've got it in my hand now. Let's get some of that pink over there as well. Here we go. So we're getting there. So let me just, I'll tell you what, time to switch colours. So now we've done those three, let's put these away. I'll get this lot dried and then we'll have a bash with some of the other colours. So we'll bring in the yellow, we'll bring in that strawberry dream, more ice creamy colours, and then that apricot blush. So I'll get this dried off first and then we'll have a bash with these. Okay, so let's start with some of the lighter colour. Actually, let's do a couple of those apricot blobs. So this is kind of fairly orangey as well, isn't it? Alright, okay. I don't know whether you're going to be able to tell the difference between the apricot and the orange, so let's just clean that off. Let's relegate that and then just come back with the yellow. Here we go. So this is where it starts kind of brightening up a little bit, and we can start going over and building up almost getting kind of mermaidy vibes. Or is that just me? So the lighter pinks just tone down. Okay. Yep, we're getting there. Okay, I think, because we've got a noisy dog outside, I'm just going to let that dry for a bit, take a quick break, maybe let's have a cup of coffee, and hopefully the dogs will have finished bouncing up and down on the trampoline. And I think I'm going to introduce some more colours. I think I will introduce maybe some green, or maybe some pale blue, just to complement the background. Let's have a dry, and then I'll be right back. So I've got those dry. Did make a coffee. Num nums. So the dogs have gone in now. So let's just see if we can get some of this green in there now. See how it's just immediately started to add a bit of difference and contrast. Don't want too big a splodge. It's almost like sprinkles on ice cream. And you can practically, or almost instinctively, when you get to this stage, you can almost instinctively see or feel where the colour needs to go. And like I said, you can dot over the top of other colours as well. Looking good. Right, let's get that one cleaned off, and then we'll introduce a little bit of the blue, because then that's going to tie it into the background. You could actually just lose yourself in this. Just step back away from it and decide what else needs to happen. Do we need to come back in with the orange? Do we think? Or do we need to introduce another colour? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. But maybe just a little bit more of that orange. I think maybe just to widen the scope that way. Maybe one or two. So it's just a question of looking at it and just seeing where it's taking you. Another one there. So I think I'm going to come back with that yellow. One there, one there. Just kind of keep going. Just see if there's any little gaps, and I keep forgetting that I've got bits of paint there. You can just spot where it could just do with a little bit of brightness. And I think I'm kind of happy with that. So I shall clean up, dry off, tidy up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so most of that is now dry. So what I want to do is just kind of tidy up and add a little bit of shadow and shading just under here. I've just been looking in my Derwent colour pencils to see if I had any colours that I could maybe just softly use just to kind of blend just underneath, just to get a little bit of shade and just maybe a little touch of shadow. And then I'm just blending it in with my finger. I'm not going to get the exact same colour as the printed matter. It's just never going to happen. But right, a little bit of blue. I did have somewhere some of these little blending stubs. I think that'll do. Just adding a little bit of shade, a little bit of shadow. I didn't want to go too mad with those pencils. I don't get my pencils out often enough, if you pardon the expression. Right, okay, so to finish off then, and that's all the dots, I need to add some doodles. So I need a nice fine pen. That will do nicely, I think. But before I do that, I just wanted to add a couple more kind of little doodles. I want to give her a little bit, almost like a necklace. So I'm just going to there we go, like so. And then I can start the process of kind of doodly outlining. And then you can just doodle around where you want to be. You don't even have to include every single one of the dots. You can actually just exclude some. Okay, so now we've outlined that, I do definitely want to come back in with 5 of those colours. And the pink. So really fine point brush. It's that one. Let's grab a wet wipe. it just kind of brings it all together. Almost. I've just thought of something else. I think I'm going to put the blue, no, I'm going to put the blue next to the yellow because it just works better. Blue and yellow works better together. And then we'll just finish off with a little splodge of pink. Okay, so I think also what I'm going to do is just grab the pen and then I'm just going to give a some earrings. And in those, we're going to do, I think, yellow in the middle. Pink at the top. Deal dots. And then orange on the bottom. There we go. Okay, let me have a quick clean up and tidy up and then I'll be right back. Okay, that's all dry, but I've got one last little couple of dots to add. I've got a white paint marker. All I want to do is just to add couple of little catch lights in her eyes. Two last dots at the end. And I think that's it. I think I'm happy with my art tag for June. And the prompt, as I say, was dots and doodles. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create my June mission inspiration art tag. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up because it really does help the channel. Don't forget you can share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video, and don't forget to hit that bell icon as well to get notifications for future uploads from me. So that's it from me today. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.